Hello, welcome along. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Mark Shardlow and this is the final one of the week. If you've been here all week, it's been great. A special series of live streams ahead of British Canoeing's annual general meeting, which is taking place virtually tomorrow. What a way to spend a Friday night. Remember when it used to be about being in the pub or going to the cinema, and now it's Zoom and Facebook. But seriously, I've really enjoyed being with you this week and getting all the comments and the likes. It's felt a real community, and thank you so much for those of you who've got involved. And I hope you've got something out of the last 4 nights and will continue to get something out of tonight. And of course, another good thing is that the light nights are on their way and more opportunities to get out on the water. So what's happening tonight? Tonight we've got a talk on social media and rebooting your club's communications, and that's coming from Simon Badman of Social B. But before Simon, just a little recap and a reboot ourselves for the last 4 nights. I don't know if you remember, if you were watching last night, then I had a little bit of a Bluetooth wobble right at the very end when my microphone went a bit strange, just as I was giving some information. It was a really good night last night, talking about mental health and green social prescribing. I'm just going to bring up on the screen now the contact at British Canoeing. If you wanted to find out a little bit more about social prescribing, the contact there is below. It's Phil Scowcroft at phil.scowcroft at britishcanoeing.org.uk, and Phil has all the details. And if you want to go back and watch that episode, it's sitting there on the Facebook and YouTube channels, and it was great. I mean, we had such a positive reaction to it last night. If you missed it or missed any of it, I definitely recommend going back to look at that, and also consider, if you're a club or centre, inquiring about green social prescribing and contacting, as it says on the screen there, phil.scowcroft at britishcanoeing.org.uk. Right, there were 3 other episodes as well. I'm going to bring details of those up. On Monday, we looked at women in leadership and coaching. Tuesdays was environment and access, and we went on a bit of a river cleanup too. And on Wednesday, again, we got a great reaction to Emma Wiggs, MBE, telling her story from a mystery virus that left her paralysed overnight to winning Paralympic gold in Rio in 2016. A remarkable story, and Emma a great advocate of sport and paddle sport. Right, to tonight then, it's all about communications, and I'm going to bring onto the screen Simon to tell you more.
Hello, I'm Simon Badman from Social B. During 2020, I had the privilege of working alongside clubs, guiding them with their websites and social media activity. When I asked the clubs what they were doing with their digital communications, most were on a spectrum. At one end of the spectrum, there were clubs who were open and honest with me, and they declared they weren't doing anything until things got back to normal or settled down a bit or activity opened up. At the opposite end of the spectrum, there were those who realised the power of digital to connect with their members and communities they exist in, especially at a time where the world is going online. Wherever you are on the spectrum, very active or doing nothing at all, now is a great time to reboot your digital communications. And I want to share with you some stories of clubs who've increased their membership through online activity during a season where we've had little opportunity to get on the water. So what do I mean by rebooting your digital communications? Well, on a computer, there are 3 keys on the keyboard that we've probably all been staring at through the last 12 months more than ever. Control, Alt and Delete. Pressing all 3 together would have rebooted your PC and would have been used usually when something went wrong and you were about to throw it out the window. Actually, Control Alt Delete is a great metaphor for us to use to think about rebooting our club communications. During the pandemic, there have been lots of elements outside our control. Digital communications, thankfully, isn't one of these. As we hear from Sarah Jane Coombs of Blue Therapy Paddle Community and James Wardell of St Denis Boat Club, we'll discover how both successfully took control of their club's digital marketing during the pandemic and grew their memberships. They've also been innovative in how they've approached things. This is the Alt key for me. I know it does different things when I press it on the keyboard, but I'm not exactly sure what. This is a great opportunity to do different, to test, to try, just as James and Sarah Jane have at their clubs. And delete should be obvious, a chance to stop doing things which are no longer working.
So my name is Sarah Jane Coombs. I run Blue Therapy Active Community. I started teaching paddleboarding a couple of years ago and getting people on the water to enjoy it. Now, I started running this as a club years ago, teaching paddleboarding. I just wanted to get people out on the water to enjoy the water, how I enjoy it. And over the years, we have many people that have come to us, and we have grown drastically over the last 3 years, especially last year during lockdown. We become very big. The day lockdown struck, we knew we had a lot of people in our group that were going to start to feel lost because they lived alone, they didn't have family around them. So straight away we created a WhatsApp group, and we said to everybody, if you want to be in the WhatsApp group, join it. It's there just for a chat, just for a giggle. Our social media on Facebook just grew. We was advertising that we're there for them. We arranged regular Zoom meetings or Teams so we could just catch up. We would give advice and guidance. So we was like still having a lesson, but just via Zoom and just chatting about the winds and tides. Some days just having a quiz and a social gathering, get together just to make sure we was all okay. What we did on our group on Facebook is once a week we would change our cover photo, and we made sure that we chose a happy picture, a great memory, where a lot of people were around on that particular day, and choosing individual pictures. And we used to get messages saying, thank you so much, I forgot about that day, I can't wait for that day to come back. So we used a lot of images to brighten people, and it lasted a week. It did, it was lovely. We still do it now. The guys have done really well transforming to just be digital, like texting, messaging, ringing face to face. They adapted very easily because it's really bizarre. I have a very large extended family now, which is over 1,000 people, and it's every single one of them I do see as a family, and we look out for each other. We check in with each other, and others check in with others just to make sure everybody's okay. So everyone has transferred very easily, very calmly, I should say, into using other aspects instead of just meeting up on the water. Using digital media now, as we're coming out of lockdown, we will still be using it the same as what we did for our lockdown, because we find it works. During lockdown, no lockdown, everyone just likes to get together. They've become a very big social group. It's like a Friday night kids club that we have to meet up and get together. If we can't get back on the water and do our usual socials and get on the water together, it will happen via social media or interaction. There is another thing actually I used. It's the My Neighbourhood, I think it is, app. But funnily enough, there was a lot of people on there who were looking for other people to get out on the water. I saw a lot of messages. I'm struggling, I'm living by myself, I paddleboard, I don't want to go out by myself. And I was literally, these messages were pinging in. So I was saying to them, come out with me. You know, you're more than welcome. You live around the corner, we'll go out together. And that's what we did. And there is a lot of people out there. And it made me a bit emotional when these people actually told me, because they never told me until the end of summer. And then we was heading back into another lockdown, that I actually saved them because their mental health, they were really in a bad place, and helped them get them out of the bad place. So that's a really good app I recommend, because you see these little cries for help, but you don't realise you're actually seeing cries for help. The other thing we did, I mean, Dale and myself, obviously we're partners, is as soon as we went into the second lockdown, straight away we knew it was going to send a lot of people in themselves again. It's winter and the people that live alone were going to start to really feel distraught. So we actually just posted a picture of a clock on our group. And with that clock, it just meant, we've got time, because I was cancelling all the socials, paddles that we had organised for the Christmas, the Halloween. And there was really quite an upset message that somebody put on there saying that they're going to be alone for Christmas. I've got no one around. And I just messaged them back and said, look, I'm here. I can't be there, but I'm at the end of the phone. Phone me any time of the day, send me a message. I'm there. Even if you need someone to moan at, I'll just be that person for you. And that was quite well receptive. But we didn't do it for any other reason apart from I knew what the people were going to go through again. So just wanted to let them know we are there. And I feel like a mum. I feel like I have to be the mum for them. So that was one big thing, I think, of building the community, is you're the mum and you got to love your children. We've only really on Facebook and Instagram. To be honest, I'm not very good at Instagram. I'm on there, but not on there. But one of the guys is actually taking that over for me this year, so I haven't got to worry about it. We are on TikTok, but we've not done anything as yet this year or last year. But it's there set up, and the intention is to make absolute wallies out of ourselves, just so we can mimic dances and things and fall in and just have a giggle, and it's just having that memory that we can look back on, really. But advertising wise, we don't really, I've not done it to pull new members in. We do socials, like the socials seems to be the winner. We've just posted loads up with the lockdown rules of the dates, and it's getting silly amounts of interest. Well, it's not silly, it's great, but I mean, we're nearly reaching 100 paddleboarders coming out on one social in, I think it's the end of July. Seriously? It's beyond my wildest dreams. But so we're not really advertising at all. We don't advertise, it's just fun. It's just all about having fun, and people see you having fun, it becomes contagious and they want to have fun as well. I do have one bit of advice for other clubs if they are struggling, with coming back with everything, is I've made sure from day one, it's never been about instructing, teaching, owning, being part of it. It's all about the people that are joining you. It's just listening to what they want, and even if you don't want to do it, you've got to do it. And it makes it grow, because they see that you're listening to them and you're not strict on, no, we can only do this, we can't do that, within guidelines and safety reasons. If it can happen, make it happen.
So at the moment, under lockdown, we're doing really well, but the year definitely didn't start out that way. We got to March, and basically 24th of March, we sent everyone an email saying, hey guys, time to pay your money, renew your membership for the year, and by the way, we're shut for the foreseeable future. So that went as well as you might have imagined. We had a lot of people very nervous, either put their membership on hold or left. But over the course of the summer, it's gone really well. We're back up to a full house, basically. 260 members. It's just about as many as we can cope with. We encourage everybody to talk to each other online. And we've really got two strands to this. We've got external communication and internal communication. So for external communication, we've found that Facebook works really well. We have a Facebook page called St Denny's Boats, and that Facebook page is a member of lots of local community groups. And there's about half a dozen members who sit behind that page. And we answer questions or make comments on anything that is related to the river, water, canoeing, sailing. So we'll come and have the Facebook page say, hey, look, there's a picture of a swan, doesn't that look cool? Or, if someone says, who can I talk to about getting a mooring? Or say, hey, go and talk to ABP. And people start to associate the boat club as anything to do with the river. So that's really successful for us from an external point of view. Internally, we actually try not to do very much. We've set up a WhatsApp group with all the members in it, and we encourage them all to be members, and we encourage them all to talk to each other. Occasionally, we will drop in a question or a thought to try and steer people along, but it's very much not about us telling members what they should be doing. It's about us enabling members to talk to each other and letting them drive the conversation. We've got some great sort of more niche WhatsApp and Facebook groups that go around. So we have a group of, dare I call them, elderly gentlemen who like mending things. And despite them being, in their 70s or 80s, they now all talk to each other on Facebook, and where they previously all meet up together on a Thursday morning for a cup of tea and decide what to do. Well, they can't do that now, so they all talk to each other, get involved, and come along and mend things. A virtual men's shed, if you like. Historically, we've been doing things like in-person talks in the past, practical training in the past. This year, where that's not possible, we've had members giving talks on things like, we've had some of our BC British Canoeing instructors talking about, this is how you plan journeys next year, this is where you could go, let's be thinking about what you could be doing. And we've brought in some external trainers from the RYA to offer basic navigation courses to our kayakers and more advanced navigation courses to our sailors online. I think it's really important for us as a club to be part of a community, not just parallel with it. Even if you're not a member, we want you to feel that you're part of St Denis Boat Club. And really, this year saw an explosion in what we did there. So we were approached by one of our members right at the start of the pandemic that said, look, I'm involved in the local food bank, and they just haven't got space. So we very quickly decided that, well, you know what, we've got all this boathouse space that we're not using. Let's use it for a food bank. And so in lockdown 1, between about March and August, where we couldn't run classes, couldn't really use our own space, we were a food bank for the local community. And, not particularly because we wanted something out of it. We gave everyone the space for free. We picked up the heating and lighting bill. But what we found is that we just said to them, could you just mention that the food bank is at the boat club? When people come down, just tell them about the boat club. And between April and August, we went from going, my goodness, we don't really have many members left, to, my goodness, we can't cope with any more members. We've got plenty of people who've joined and want to get started. So, it's been really positive to be part of the community, and people see us doing something positive, and it makes them think, you know what, I'd never realised there was a boat club, or I'd never thought about joining a boat club to go canoeing. I'll do that. So despite us not sort of saying, hey, come and join a boat club, and boat club is a great idea, people are just seeing we're doing useful stuff and feeling that, this is a good place. I want to be part of this. So this is another great idea of ours. We have a policy at the boat club, which is say yes and work out how you'll do it later. So we're fortunate that we've got a few members who are artists and musicians. And they approached us in the summertime and said, look, normally we'd be out and about doing all the music festivals this year. None of them can happen. We would like to build a floating, socially distanced music festival. And so the All Aboard Festival was born. And the idea here is that we had 10 different stages around the river in Southampton, a total of 40 bands over a Saturday. And the only way you could see these bands was by boat, be that rowing or canoeing or sailing. So we had people pootling up and down the river, in fairly small groups. We probably had audiences of maybe 50 per stage maximum, just listening to bands. And then when they got tired of that band, they'd pootle along the river, paddle to the next stage, listen to another one. And, it was a great collaborative experience. The bands involved were really happy because they, weren't able to play all year, and they were out playing to an audience, which is what they love doing. For the paddlers, it was something good to do. It was a real day out. And for the boat club, it was good simply because we did some organic organisation, and people thought, you know what, that's all pretty good. We did get a noise abatement notice from the council, but I think that was probably well worth it in the scheme of things. It's actually not about having a couple of people doing everything, it's about having very distributed communication. So one thing that we've changed a lot is the idea of having you're the newsletter person, or you're the information person, and you push that information out. It's very much about saying, we don't really know how Instagram works. You're a 14-year-old, you've got a social media profile, you go and do it. And sometimes when you do something that we don't really like, we might go, that was maybe not the message we're trying to say, but trust people to have that communication. Don't feel you have to control everything.
I realise there's a huge danger that when club stories are shared, one response can be, that's not us. That could never happen at our club. Let me reassure you that throughout history, from Apple to Uber, many advances we class as innovation are simply improved versions of what someone else has developed. Please feel free to use or improve on anything Sarah Jane and James have shared. So how are you going to be more intentional about your club's digital communications? How are you going to take control, or even release control to others to make it more effective and efficient? How are you going to do things differently, and what activities will you stop doing as you reboot your club's digital communications?